sewers invasions. These are always fun.
So I'll just play it and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah. This was a pretty fun little 3-man. I can't remember much of this. Most of this footage is from a day where I'd completely forgotten to record my own commentary, so unheard here is me speaking into the void.
Yeah, I can faintly hear the audio from the game, but that's it.
This one was real feckin' aggressive. This one was a lot of pressure and a lot of running away. But fortunately, this entire place is a maze, and so it's pretty easy to split people up down here.
Yeah, not sure why Hosted is naked, but I guess there's a reason for that.
I guess he must be using the whatever talisman it is that gives you that damage boost, or maybe it's just for the light roll. I've heard that light roll and bows go well together. But yeah, here was the big tactic, because I need space and I needed like space enough to split them up without being in a shooting gallery, I guess. Because we've got a mage and a bowman, and I can't remember what the other guy had. I think the other guy was pure melee katana, but fortunately they accidentally ended up on the wrong side of the cage bars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can see him in the background just being all like, oh god. So now I'm just fighting a 2-man. It's not exactly the easiest thing. Because it's the double-ranged problem where if you're fighting one, you're still getting shot at by the other.
Oh wait, that's the host here. Or probably not, right?
I actually can't... I think it's the mage is the host. I think the phantom is the one with the bow. Kneels willingly is an interesting name, quite frankly.
I love how the other guy's just running back and forth, no idea where to go.
He just completely gives up. He's just like, well, I shall spectate now. I will say, I've come across a lot of people using Gravitas for some reason in recent weeks. I'm not sure if that's just a recent thing or if I've just never encountered them before, but...
Now, I've noticed an uptick as well in Gravitas users. Not sure why that is, but I think it's the meteoric ore
did a
blade.
YouTube video on it. That's pretty much the sole way I use Flaming Strike these days, is the get away from me button.
Swapping to the clean rod here.
That was a complete muck-up on my part. I just hung out in the middle of a damage cloud drinking.
Okay. And I guess the Reverend took care of the host. Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Honestly, this wasn't the best performance from my own part, but I thought it was a good demonstration of the whole terrain advantage in the sewers, because the shooting gallery effect right at the start, where I'm running through pipe after pipe, like absolutely nowhere before I got to this particular place was a good place to fight at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the main takeaway for me as well. Like, just try to find open space. And I had a few invasions where I just ran into closed space, and that's basically a death sentence if the group is somewhat competent and not half brain dead. But yeah.
That lack of friendly fire on the host side just means that everyone can focus their fire through the person at the front, and it's just impossible to deal with.
No, like the only thing I usually am afraid of here at this point is that there's no way back up. So usually when I jump down, people just like stand there and they camp you and they don't follow you. At least that's it for my invasions here. But luckily enough, you had all three of them following you.
Yeah, honestly, this play was a mistake on my part. I should have gone the other way into the pipes underneath that long drop, and I could much easier manage them on those pipes. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, I was kind of corralled away from them right at the beginning.
I brought, what did I bring? A Conan invasion, and this invasion here needs a bit of background. I'm not sure if I ever talked about this, but I have this Swapbot 3000 where...
Oh, yes, I heard about this.
Where like you cannot, I think you will be able, no, you won't be able to hear it here in the clip, but every weapon that I have is predetermined by the bot giving it to me. So it just speaks out a random weapon every 40 or 50 seconds, and then I'm forced to swap to it no matter what it is. And it's just...
That sounds incredibly entertaining, man.
Yeah, it is. And it was in this invasion. So yeah, I'll just play it and then you'll see.
Yeah, dude, I'm looking forward to this. This sounds amazing. God, that is a way to start me off frightened in an invasion. No, just 3-man with 1 person comet spamming.
So I'll get the Flail swap right away from the bot.
Oh boy, what a goddamn starter. Not surprised you backed off at that one. Ooh, I have not seen Stamp Upward on the Flail. That actually looked pretty good.
It's amazing. And this is also weird. This is also a weird combination. So I'm stopping here real quick. People just run. Apparently, there is a combination of 2 spells that make you untargetable for like 30 seconds.
Yes.
Which I find really interesting, especially in freer groups. Suddenly you're not able to target one of the phantoms and it just fucks with you. So gotta watch out for that. I've encountered
it a couple of times myself, and it's a really strange curveball to have to deal with, and especially if they're linking it up with concealing veil and stuff, because they can just legitimately disappear from your view and you haven't the slightest where they've gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Just looking at Morrigan's loadout here, and 1 gigantic Gugs and what is that, a Godslayer Greatsword, is it?
It was, yeah.
What kind of build did that man have?
Yeah, and here I'm forced to swap to the Greatbow, and since Conan doesn't have enough decks, I'm like using the Okina mask.
Yep, clever.
I have to blow my last golem arrow, and apparently the magic arrows don't do any AoE damage.
Yeah, I'm honestly disappointed about a lot of the arrows for the Greatbow. The golem arrows really seem to be the only ones that are worthwhile that you don't use for the stealth buff.
I guess this one still worked out, so...
Booped him off the ledge. That was a nice play, that.
Yeah, it was the initial play with the golem great arrow, but somehow the normal ones also work for this apparently. So yeah, that was...
yeah, if they hit, they all do knockback, which is good, but actually hitting someone with one of them is just such a ask.
Yeah, and that was basically the play. So here I think the most interesting part is that my weapon choice doesn't come from me, it comes randomly. And I've found that this allows to explore new playstyles, or you're just being forced into uncomfortable situations, here with the Flail for example. And then you just have to adapt on the fly. So I think it's good training from time to time. Especially
it's good to use a bunch of different weapons as well, because you learn how best to use them and therefore how best to counter them.
Yeah.
It's really hard to choose to go into something that's not optimal in my experience. I always feel like I'm just kind of handicapping myself, which I am, but like it's not a decision that comes naturally to the brain, I guess.
Exactly, and by just offloading this decision to a third party, I found it's way easier to just stick with it. Because usually when I'm like about to lose, I'll just swap to, I don't know, a heavy thrusting sword or a Knight Rider Glaive and then just run with that. And that's not that much fun if you win that. Way more fun.
I have to admit doing that a lot myself, and it's a bad habit.